access to resources than I would have been able to before the pandemic. So this is our good news. So in the next 15 minutes, I have three key areas that I want to talk about, but I want to make sure that I'm covering the goals of this group. So from my understanding, I hope that the goals are building professional networks, finding an employment, or upgrading current employment. Can anyone speak out if they have an additional goal that they're hoping to learn from this session?
I can add to that.
Please.
For sure, what you mentioned are really important goals, especially for newcomers establishing career, just like myself. But I also find networking digitally or in person really important to just sort of build your community, just not necessarily for professional finding jobs, but just your community as a person living in Canada as a whole.
Yes, I really like that. Anything else? Any other goals or objectives that people are hoping to work towards today? Okay, great. So I think that in the next 15 or so minutes, we'll cover the value of your hidden network. I'm willing to bet that most of you have a much larger network than you might be aware of, and we'll talk about how to uncover that. We're going to talk about best practices for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the kind of social platform for professional networking. And then we're going to go through some really tactical examples of how to get a virtual meeting and preparing for that meeting. Let me know if that sounds good, if there's anything that I'm missing. Thumbs up.
Sounds good.
Great, thank you. Okay, so who am I? As you know, I'm Shannon. I'm the Associate Director of Corporate Partnerships at Windmill. I just finished my MBA at Rotman, which is at the University of Toronto. And I have about 14, just coming up to 15 years of experience in sales and networking. It's been a part of my professional and personal life. My grandmother, when I was a little girl, used to call me a social butterfly, and I somehow managed to take that kind of natural passion or way of being and turn it into my profession. And most importantly, I'm a curious and constant learner, and I hope that I can learn, something from each of you today on this call. So let's get into the nitty gritty here. So the first idea we're going to cover is your hidden network. So I was born in Canada. I've lived in Toronto for 7 or 8 years. And you might say, well, I don't have the same network as you do. And I think that there's a lot more value in your network than you might think. It's really easy to sit behind a computer and apply for jobs, but it's really hard to get noticed. And even now with algorithms and screening, who you know is incredibly important to establishing a career in Canada. I have hired people based on connections. I have gotten people hired based on connections. And I have even landed my roles myself because of someone that I know. So we'll start with you. And then you want to start with the people that know you and love you the most. These are the people that believe in you and care about you, and they will do anything for you. These are your friends and family. So what you're going to do, an activity, your homework assignment number 1, after this webinar, you're going to go through your friends and family, and you're going to write a list of them, and you're going to list where they work. And if there's any that work in areas, corporations or sectors that are related to the area of work that you're looking for, you can put a little star beside them. And then I encourage you to set up, a 15-minute meeting that's dedicated really to talk about their experience. So start with the people they're going to say yes. Next, you're going to move into your social groups and your community. So my husband is an immigrant from Egypt, and he sometimes says, well, I don't have the same, social group that you do, but he has a huge church community that I don't have a part of. So everyone here can think about what is that social group or the community that you do have that might be different for each person's room. For me, I work out a lot, so I know that my social community is my gym. I have a dog. I have a social community of people at the dog park. Write down your social communities, write down the people in those communities, Write down where they work. If you know someone well and you don't know where they work, this is a great time to ask them. Think of people that inspire you and that you think, I want to be like that person, or I want to, people that, you think that are a good role model for you, and ask them, where do you work? And find out more about what they do. Write down their names, put a little star beside it, set up a 15-minute with them. Next, we're moving out here. And obviously, the further that you get away from those friends and family, the more challenging it's going to be. So colleagues, so this can be past or present colleagues, people that you've worked with. So they know how much effort you put into your work. They know that you show up. They know that you work hard. These are going to be great people to give you introductions and referrals. I've done a ton of referrals and introductions for former colleagues of mine. Again, start your list, create your Rolodex. Who are those people? Where are they working now? Put a star beside the ones that jump out, set up a quick call with them. The next is going to be your acquaintances. So your acquaintances and your cold contacts are going to be the people that are farthest away from you. So this is kind of like you've gone through the first three groups. Now it's the people that are a little bit farther. A lot of people start here. They see someone on the radio or hear someone on the radio and they're like, oh, I'm going to reach out to them. Well, that person doesn't know you or love you. So why would they want to help you? So this is your last resort. And if you are going to reach out to an acquaintance, it might be a friend of a friend, someone you met a long time ago, someone that you've heard of, someone that, you have seen in your grocery store. At least try and find a point of shared contact. So that can be, how you know them. Oh, you lived in the same neighborhood, or the same person, some shared point of reference that you can refer to when you're reaching out to those people. So give me a nod if you think that there's, more value in your network existing than you maybe thought previously. Yeah. Okay. I think so. So yeah, any questions before we move on from this exercise? This is assignment number 1.
I'd like to share just one brief comment with everybody, just because the point you made, Shannon, right when I heard you say it, I thought I got to bring this one out. I've actually gotten a job from somebody that I met at my social group at the dog park. So I can actually thank my dog for one of the jobs that I've received, because my dog, she has no problems with going out and saying hi to everybody. Sometimes as people, we might be a little bit more restrained. And so it can really happen. There was somebody, my dog went up to them. We started chatting. Year later, turned into a job. So these things can really happen. So sorry to interrupt. When you said that, I thought, I gotta tell them it works.
I love that. And no apologies for interrupting here. That's what we want. But I love that story, and I love that that it was able to get you a role. Okay. So we're creating a database of contacts. And now the next step is we're going to talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an extremely important social media platform, especially when it comes to employment. So your second piece of homework, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you should stop this webinar and go make a LinkedIn account. Don't actually do that, but immediately afterwards, you need to use LinkedIn. You may need to use these other social media platforms. I don't know what Snapchat is, but I've heard about it. So you may need to use some of these other media platforms to reach the people in your network. So it's a family member, you might have them on Facebook. So it's okay to send them a Facebook message, even if Facebook about a professional opportunity, even if Facebook isn't, the right platform. So there's a couple things to keep in mind here. One is that it's important to ask the person that you're reaching out to, how do they best want to be communicated with? So if you reach out to them on Facebook and then they check Facebook like once every 3 months, they might respond to you, but it's important to clarify, say, what's the best way for me to get in touch with you? They might say, oh, give me a phone call. Let's set up a meeting. Let's go for coffee. So, and you are the one that's asking for the favor, asking for help, asking for an introduction. So you always want to meet them where they're at. What's the most convenient thing for them? The other thing to keep in mind with this is, you may have a really beautiful professional LinkedIn photo, but maybe your Instagram or your, WhatsApp photo is of you like having a beer at the cottage. which is great. And that's, you know, you as a person, but potential employers and recruiters will look you up on all the social media platforms. And it is important that you represent your authentic but professional self on all of the platforms. So just make sure, you know, whatever you're posting, that you're okay with your potential, you know, future employer or contact seeing it. Any questions on that? Okay, we all have LinkedIn, great. So getting noticed on LinkedIn. So you've got a LinkedIn profile and you've logged in before, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of content, you're not really sure what to do. So LinkedIn is fabulous. They share the stats that 1 in 8 cold emails on LinkedIn gets a response, which I think is pretty amazing. However, I think that we can make it much better than that. And here's a few ways to do that. So the first thing is, whenever you send a friend or a request or a connection request on LinkedIn, it's best to send a note explaining why you're asking that person to connect with you. There's a little place it says, I think it encourages you to say, add a note to tell them, you know, how you know them. I suggest always including that note. It's much more likely that that person is going to accept your request. Even if you say, I really appreciate your work. I really appreciate your comments. I'm really interested in learning, you know, more about what you do at RBC. So just a little bit of context in that note. Also, people are more likely to accept your connection request if you have connections in common, which is all the more reason to be building this professional network. Almost anyone now, I'm based in Toronto, almost anyone now in Toronto in professional career that connects with me on LinkedIn, we have at least a few connections in common, which is really great. So send a note. You can like and comment on people's photos. So if it's, you know, someone that you're looking to get in touch with, maybe it's a hiring manager or you know, a speaker that you've heard, it's a really great, like, subtle way before you ask for a meeting for them to kind of recognize you and see who you are and get familiar with you, is to like and comment. A couple things, if you're going to comment, it's a great idea to express interest and appreciation for what they've shared. And make sure that it adds value and it's relevant to the topic. So we don't want to be commenting on something that isn't very relevant to that post. And lastly, spelling and grammar. So everyone, you know, is going to judge you for what you put out into the world. And there's free tools like Grammarly that can edit all of your content, even on a website. So it's really important to make sure your spelling and grammar is really good when you're commenting or interacting with people on LinkedIn. So there's a few different people on LinkedIn that are influencers and decision makers, and these are really good people to start with in terms of building your network. So the first is headhunters or recruiters. So these are people who get paid for finding people to do specific jobs. They are always trying to increase their networks. They often have many thousands of connections, and that's a really good place to start with building your network. Hiring managers. If you're looking at specific roles or applying for postings, finding the hiring manager and connecting with them is always a great idea. Executive assistants. These are tricky. They're often gatekeepers, but they often have a lot of power and a lot of access. So you might think, oh, that's just an EA, that's a secretary, like, you know, they're not really worth my time. But these are really good people to network with and to build your connections with. And then lastly, speakers and panelists. So if you go to any kind of a conference or webinar, if anyone here reaches out to me today and says, oh, it's great to hear from you at the CRAC webinar, of course I'm going to accept them, and, you know, I want to help them in the future. So those are a couple key contacts to connect with. So now we've got LinkedIn, and the next thing is to make sure we have a photo. When someone connects with me on LinkedIn and they don't have a photo, I'm like, well, how do I know that that's a person? It's not a great place for anonymity. So you do want to create a personal brand. You want to have a professional photo, and you want to, in that about section, it's really important that you include something about who you are and what you're doing. So ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What do you like? You can see, for me, I love the outdoors. This is a beautiful, you know, place in Toronto that I really love to go and hike. create a profile that reflects your passions. This is also a great place to share your qualifications and achievements. So if you have, even if you have a foreign credential, it's a great place to say, you know, you could say like internationally trained dentist, or even a university that you went to in another country. I think it still gives you credibility. Any questions about this?
Shannon, if I may jump in for a second about
of course,
LinkedIn.
Please do.
I just want to share, because it was a very interesting thing that came across my work here, was that a newcomer sort of got into trouble, well, not to say got into trouble, but was asked by a professional licensing body here in Canada to not use certain terms in their LinkedIn profile, because certain terms are in here in Canada, or for example, Alberta, requires you to be an actual member of that licensing body, or to have done certain qualification. So I just want to just share and say that when we want to do something on our LinkedIn profile, make sure it's within what we can say. Otherwise, you might get a letter from these licensing bodies that say, hey, you know, you're not supposed to say that until you do certain things first.
Yeah, so totally. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Iman. It's really important, to make sure you check with your professional body. For me, before I graduated my MBA, I had an MBA candidate. So if you're in the process of doing something, you can always say like candidate to indicate that you haven't completed, you know, whatever certification that is. Great, thank you so much. Okay, so we've combed through our database, we've got our LinkedIn, our headshots, it's looking good. It's time to book our meeting. So I don't know if you've heard this before, but it's a phrase that I love and that sticks with me often. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So when you're trying to get a meeting, it's all about the preparation. So make sure that you're researching the contact that you're reaching out to. Make sure you understand their current role, the organization they work for, their employment history. And then once you get on that call, you want to have questions prepared. I used to sometimes I'd get so excited I got a meeting with someone and then I hadn't done my research, and they're, maybe introverted and busy and annoyed that they've given me their time. And I'm trying to think of questions on the spot, and it's really not a good use of anyone's time. So make sure that you prepare, 4 to 5 questions that show you've done your research. For example, when you were a data analyst at Suncor, and then, something specific about what information you're looking for. And then I would say just ask for one favor. I think that, you've put in the time, you've connected with them on LinkedIn, you've liked their comment, you've booked a meeting. It's okay to ask for a favor, but just keep it to one thing and be extremely specific. So you can say, I was wondering if you would be able to introduce me to so-and-so person that you saw they're connected with, or so-and-so company. So ask for one favor. And it's also really important to be respectful of their time. I usually suggest for an introductory meeting, or like a coffee chat, as we call it, 15 to 20 minutes only, because that means if they have a half-hour gap, they can fit you in and still have a break before their next meeting. We're all busy, we work, we have families, we have a lot going on. So if you ask for a 15-minute meeting, make sure that at the 15-minute meeting mark, you say, it's been 15 minutes. That's all I asked for. I'm so appreciative of your time, and I'll let you get back to your work. Sometimes if the conversation is flowing really well, they're going to be like, oh no, let's keep talking. And that's fine. But just make sure that you are the one, you asked for the meeting. It's up to you to monitor the time on the phone call. So we'll go through a couple different examples here of LinkedIn messages that either I have sent or received. So we'll start with this one, and I'd love to hear, what do you like about this? Let's start with that. What do we like about this email on LinkedIn? You don't like anything? Okay, I'll get us started. Yeah, please go ahead.
Can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think what I really liked about this message is that it's more about you, right? So that is something that strikes me.
Yeah. that's bang on. Atacola.
It's direct. You know what you want. You're asking for what you want. And you're
Exactly.
requesting for time. So that's just perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that those are two really important things. So like, who doesn't like being flattered? Who doesn't like being told, oh, I love what you're doing, or I'm so interested in this. So yeah, so he's talking about me. Yeah, I know that he's looked at my profile and he knows what I do and he's interested in it. And then he asks for something specific. He says a coffee chat. I want to go for a coffee chat. Coffee chat is like a very kind of well accepted way to ask someone just for a like simple networking meeting. And it's pretty common vernacular. And I think I would encourage, whenever you're reaching out to someone, if you don't have like a specific purpose, you just think that they're a good network contact, saying coffee chat is okay. And it's pretty well accepted across sectors. So it's always okay to use that. Is there anything that you would do differently, or you think that could have been better in this message? Okay. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. The only thing I might say is I really like, he didn't suggest a time. So saying like, next week, or how long it would be. Like if he's looking for an hour-long coffee chat, I'm like, oh no, I don't have time for that. But if he was like, oh, I'd love to meet with you for 15 or 20 minutes, I'd be a lot more receptive of that. So it's specific, but it could be even more specific. Okay.
I think having the confidence to state your own time can be helpful for sure. Because oftentimes everybody's so busy. If you leave it too open-ended, it becomes a more confusing interaction. And sorry to interrupt there, Atacola, please go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, after introducing myself and then telling them about how I'm of interest in what they do, and I say I want to have a coffee chat with you, I think it would be okay to just give just one reason. Not like I would really love to hear about how you navigate with social sector and how with the social sector, then stop. Since I want to have a chat with you, I don't think I want to tell you, if I've said this to you, I can easily respond to you and tell you in the chat that, okay, no need for a coffee chat. I can just answer you here. I
love it.
Because I think make it a bit, let the person be interested in knowing what more do you know about me? What more have you read? How interesting can you be? That's what I think. I don't know if it's correct.
No, yeah, I love that. I think that's right on. I think that the more concise, I call anything that isn't necessary, I call it sludge. I don't want sludge. Sludge is distracting. It makes me think, if there's too many questions or a very long email, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't have time to read that, or this, I'm too mentally exhausted from my own life to like respond to all these questions. So exactly like Atacola said, we want to keep it as concise as possible. And that will, I think, really increase our chances above that 1 in 8, so we can get even more responses. Thank you so much for your feedback. Okay, let's go to the next example. Okay.
Sorry, I had a question there.
Yes, please go ahead.
My concern is like, whenever you're reaching out to a new contact and let's say you do not have a paid account on LinkedIn, and then there's a word limit of 200 words. Yeah. What do you write, and how much should you talk about them or tell them about yourself? Like, that's my constant battle.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do have a premium account, which I'm very fortunate for, and I use all the time, but the 200 word count, and I have done it, but I think you can say like very concisely one sentence. So even here, where he says, I just came across your LinkedIn profile. So I think you could basically say like, I came across your LinkedIn profile and noticed that you're working in a space that I'm interested in. I'd love to hear, more about it, or I'd love to set up a coffee chat. Would you be available next week? So I think it just has to be like super concise and compact. And I think most people know that there's like a word limit. So people aren't going to say, oh, why is this, so short? So I think you can have like one sentence on each or half a sentence covering both. But I think it is really important. The two things are like, why me? Why are you reaching out to this person? And what do you want?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, so this is another one. So this is actually me reaching out to somebody, and yeah, take a minute to read it, and then I'm curious to hear what do you like? What do you think I could do better? And I'll give you just a bit more context. So this one is actually interesting, and there's a saying in networking, you know, you need to do it when you don't need it. So the thing, I guess I missed the dates here, but I actually sent this first email or message on the left-hand side a few months before. So it was maybe like October, November. And then it wasn't until January, I'm saying Happy New Year, that I actually needed something from him. And but I had already, you know, connected with him. Now he's seen my post a few times. So it was really nice that I could go back, you know, a few months later and ask for something. Yeah, so let's open the floor, and I'd love to hear what you like or what you might do differently.
Maybe in the first one, Shannon, ask for a meeting with some like details or suggestions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think also the fact that, you know, sometimes you might reach out and connect with someone and they might not respond. It really doesn't mean they didn't get your message or they didn't read it. And, you know, the next time you connect with them, you know, just presume that, you know, they read your message and just continue the conversation. Because I noticed the first time around, absolutely no response. But the way you responded, the second time you reached out, happy to help, Shannon. You know, it's as if you've been having a conversation before. So don't get discouraged sometimes.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. I mean, this is like a podcast host. Like, he has no idea who I am. I literally listened to his podcast and just emailed him on LinkedIn. So I'm a random person. He has no, I mean, we do have some shared connections, but he has no idea who I am. So yeah, he didn't respond. I didn't ask him for anything. But when I did go back and ask him for something, he did respond. And like you say, everyone is so busy, and I think it's totally okay to follow up. I think, like, you know, I would say 3 times is kind of the max. So if you email someone once, they don't respond, you know, 2 more follow-ups, probably within like a 2-month period. After that, there's many other people out there. There's more fish in the sea. I wouldn't continue messaging someone after, you know, that initial email plus 2 follow-ups.
Adekola, did you have something you wanted to add here?
Yes, I did. Like you rightly said, the first email is an introduction. You introduced yourself and you kind of said you are a fan. And he didn't have to respond to you, but he acknowledged it. He acknowledged receipt in the sense that by the next, because you didn't have anything you wanted from him at that point in time, you just hoped that you would meet IRL soon, sometime. So he has it like an open mind. If I see such a mail to me, I really don't know what to say. Thank you, or okay, I acknowledge receipt. I really don't know what I have to say to you here, but I have acknowledged it. But now that you're saying something to him, his response here tells me, oh, I acknowledged your first email to me now, and I've been waiting that whenever you need something, I am open to help. So that's why he's responding. So I think it's kudos to you. It was nice, good responding and explaining yourself with concise, and bravo. I like it.
And I would also say I use an acronym here, which it's quite informal. I probably wouldn't do that. I use IRL, which is like in real life. I
thought IRL was I will meet IRL. Okay, you said in real life. That's what you mean.
Yeah, in real life.
I'm not an abbreviation person, so
I generally wouldn't use them. It's a bit informal and it can be a bit alienating. Like, I don't know if he knows what it means. I'm not sure. You know, it was I
wouldn't have known.
Right. So I would advise against using acronyms generally, but that's okay. We're here. We're doing. These are real emails that I sent. I thought it was, useful to talk about them. So you get the good with the bad.
I find oftentimes if you're going to have a continued discussion with someone and you state what your abbreviation is the first time, then you can kind of accept the fact that they will understand it moving forward. But especially if it's across fields or things like that, it's good to explain the abbreviation at least once, because once we all just take it for granted that everybody understands the specific job and industry specific abbreviations, when in reality, people don't.
Totally. Amazing.
In reality, I really don't appreciate abbreviations. If I'm meeting you for the first time and you're writing to me in abbreviations, I tell myself, okay, maybe this person is informal. I don't know her type. I don't know what she says she knows about me, but I'm going to just keep my fingers crossed and look. So if it comes up again, I'll just ignore you. And that's it. Because I prefer, we really have to be friends for you to use an abbreviated forms of words for me. If you use the generally accepted abbreviations, the formally, professionally accepted abbreviations, that's fine. But in real life, oh my goodness, IRL, no, I won't take it from you, I'm sorry.
I agree.
Like, we have to be real friends for you to just like, okay, LOL, okay, and all that kind of stuff. We have to be real friends. We have to be in the same page. If I'm talking to you professionally, let's keep our professional space professional.
I agree. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next one. So this is another example. Please feel free to take a read and then let me know what you like or what you would have done differently. Anyone want to get us started?
Yeah, I would like to add on. When I started LinkedIn, I had only 20 connections. And I noticed when I am just mentioning hi, hello, I'm not getting that response. But when I started using their name with that, like, hi, Shannon. Hi. So what I feel is they feel that sense of belongingness. And whenever you use a name, it ensures, yes, there is a connect. that unnatural connect or whatever it is. And before going for any coffee chat or something, I first ensure to get connected. Once they get connected, then I go for the offer for coffee chat or informational interview, or I ask for something which I would like to know from them. And when they start responding, and then I come to this coffee chat. This is my way of networking. And I feel when I do such things, I get response. And when I'm directly coming onto the content, sometimes I never get response.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. I totally agree. So connect first, then you can ask for the meeting afterwards and use their name. I like that.
I think that personalization by using their name also, it lets them know that like you are dedicated to this conversation. You're not just using your same repetition over and over. You're adding an extra level there that lets them know you're involved personally.
Totally.
And it also shows that you're acknowledging them for who they are. You are talking to them directly. I agree with that. And when I look at, I don't know, maybe it's just the typing. It's okay, the spacing was too much and that's not really a problem. And if I were to speak to somebody for the very first time, hi is actually very, very informal. And you see her response to you. This is her responding. She said, hi, Shannon.
I did have her name there. I had her first and last name. I just removed it, but I said, hi, Wendy. But yes, hi is a bit informal. You could say hello. You could say good morning. You could say dear.
Oh, hello there. Hello, THERE. Hello there.
Hello there. Yep,
Yeah.
those are all great. Good
Yeah.
starting for sure. Yeah, hi is probably a bit casual for sure. So the only other thing I wanted to mention in this one is there is a power word, and this is my favorite word to use when asking for something. And the word is willing. If someone asks you, would you be willing to share a cup of sugar? Would you be willing to pick up my kid from school? Would you be willing to introduce me to your friend who works at this company? What of a monster is gonna say no? Like, everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to be willing. And this word, I don't know what it is about it. I read it in a book like years ago, and I use it all the time on a daily basis. And I swear to gosh, people cannot say no. When you ask someone if they're willing,
I'm not forcing you. Like, I'm not putting pressure on you. I want you to do it by yourself.
Yes.
Like,
out of the goodness of your heart.
Exactly. Not
make it impossible to say no.
Yeah, it's difficult to say no. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, so willing is a power word that I love, and that's why I picked this example. Okay, we'll do one more. This is a message I received on LinkedIn. What do we think? How could we make it better?
Spelling.
Yeah, spelling and grammar, absolutely.
I guess it depends if you are looking for a massage or not.
Exactly.
I think that's probably critical.
I mean,
critical
I am
aspect
always
of
looking for a massage.
Probably this person might not really be English speaking.
Yeah.
So because he says, please, I'm a verb. I'm extremely interested in the upskill. And Canada is in small, as in, I don't know.
Yeah, Aru?
It's not.
I just think it's the grammar. To me, I know he passed the message across, but I want to just give this person the benefit of the doubt that he's not a native English speaker.
And I did. Of course, I respond. I work for an immigrant serving organization.
So he just tried find out. He could have probably even transcribed before sending to you. So
yeah, that's true. Go ahead, Arup. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the English because I echo what others have said, that maybe English is not their first language. But my LinkedIn friend is a little too much like, I don't know if that's the right word to use.
Yeah, and this is tough for potential employers too, because like, you know, many people here, you know, English may not be your first language. And how do you make sure, and, you know, employers want to be inclusive, but, you know, it's really, you should really use all the tools at your discretion when you are reaching out like this. So use Grammarly, there's free versions, you know, ask your friends and family to read it as needed, or even just read it out loud to yourself. I find when I'm writing emails, if I read them out loud to myself, I catch errors that I didn't see when I was writing it.
Okay, so maybe just to make a comment on this, you know, there's also context that comes into play here. It depends on the particular competence, you know, of whoever the writer of this is, you know. I mean, I've never worked in HR, neither am I a recruiter, but there are recruiters who work in some specialized areas who, you know, if it's not the run-of-the-mill kind of recruitment they are into, there are people who their fields are so specialized. I mean, nobody even bothers about their English language. Some guys,
software developers, I think.
Exactly. You know,
yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but you know, that's the obvious one. The
totally.
Software developers who cannot. I mean, if they
doesn't matter.
write this, you know, if they can write like this for some software developers, I mean, Google will employ them and all of that. It really doesn't matter. So that context comes in. But you know, I mean, the general message that still needs to go out is try and polish it, because you know the example I gave is it's maybe like 5%, you know, for the remaining 95%.
You still need to get an interview to be able to demonstrate that you're competent at the role.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, I think did you have something to bring up?
Yeah, I think my comment on this particular screenshot is that it's as if I write to someone and I say, please, can you give me a job because I really want a job in your company. In a way, like it's good that they're direct. They're telling you exactly what they wish to be the outcome of your interaction, but at the same time, it's a little too forward. You haven't introduced yourself. You don't even know what this is about, or you don't know enough. And definitely the person you're writing to don't know enough about you. But suddenly you're like, please help me get this spot because I really want it. Sort of, I feel like that's the message. And I feel like that's not a great message to give on a first time, connecting with someone.
For sure. Great.
Beg to differ on that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I beg to differ on that because I've known people who they know what they want. They know they can work it out, and they have put it in mind that there are some people that don't have the time to be reading introductions first and later now ask. I know you, I'm your LinkedIn friend. If I'm in your connection, then I'm your friend. So friend, I need help. So give me the help. That's how I'm saying it.
And I mean, of course, like I responded to this and I got them connected to our loan officers.
Yeah,
he got what he wanted.
Yeah, sure. Because if you don't ask for what you want, then you don't get it. So I think he should have worked on his English, and if he didn't work on his English, like we said, Google will pick him. That's fine. But at the end of the day, he still got what he wanted. Some people, they want it and they keep quiet and they see other people getting it. And it's because they're just keeping quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't know about windmill for a while. Eventually, when I got to know about windmill, I was still dragging my feet. But the minute I asked, boom, everything just went roller coaster. So until you ask, you can stay there for a long time and you have these connections and it's not working out for you, wondering everybody's making it and they're just asking. So I think asking what you want, being direct, being respectfully direct gets you what you want. And Absolutely. He got it. So that's what I think.
For sure. Well, okay. So we're just going to do a little bit of a review. Hopefully by now, you know how to evaluate your network. You're more comfortable with LinkedIn and you have some ideas for landing a virtual meeting. I wanted to share just a few other tips and tricks. So one is follow up. Follow up. People are busy. They have their own lives, their health, their families, their work. Just because they didn't respond to you the first time doesn't mean they don't want to help. So follow up once or twice. If you don't hear back, move on. Use your power words, like willing. Would you be willing to help? Would you be able to help? Use those power words. And flattery gets you a long way. So offering a compliment or a shared connection is often going to get you a good response.
One of my favorite ones is I like to let everybody know too that your confidence is important as well. If you feel good and you're showing that you can do it, then people will believe you can do it. So everybody loves flattery and everybody loves confidence.
Absolutely. I love that. Thanks, John. Okay, so we're at the closing portion of this part. We are going to do a bit of an interactive activity. I know we've been going for about 50 minutes. Does the group want like a 5-minute break? Or do we want to just keep going?
Maybe.
Just enough.
Maybe, Shannon, should we ask people to raise their hand sign if they do want a break?
Yes.
No, I raised my hand for a question, not for break.
Okay, so raised hand is for anybody who would like a break at this moment. Would anybody like to take a break? I don't see any raised hands, so if everybody's okay with moving forward, we'll take a 30-second. Everybody get a little breath, get a little oxygen in there, and then we'll move forward so we can continue with the rest of the presentation. And what I'll ask at this point, we're just going to let Shannon kind of move forward. Please lose your hand up if you have any questions, and then we'll try to get everybody involved as much as we can, folks. Okay? All right, Shannon, they're ready to rock. Let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to start our activity, and give me thumbs up if you can see the screen. Okay, so we're going to start with something that's called a reciprocity ring. Now that you've learned some of the tactics and practices from networking, we're going to take those principles and apply them. So one of the principles that we talked about was the hidden value of your own network. And guess what? Now everyone on this webinar is part of your very own network. And we're going to think about how we can help and support each other. I'm willing to bet that there's a huge amount of skill, experience, and talent. And we're about to find out just how much. Okay, so I want everyone to make sure that you have a pen and pencil or somewhere where you can make notes. If you have sticky notes or cue cards, those are great. And I want on one sticky note, you to think of one thing that you need help with right now. This can be in your personal or professional life. It can be an introduction, advice, suggestions for a book, recommendations for renovating your kitchen, anything you want, one thing. Now, one by one, I'm going to ask you to share that item with me. Those of you who are listening while we get to collect those items, I want you to think about, is this something I know about? Is this something I could offer assistance with? After the person shares their item, anyone can ask a clarifying question, but please hold off on offers of assistance until everyone has shared their request. If someone requests something that you think you could help with, I suggest that you write down their name and the item on a separate sticky note. I know this sounds clear as mud, but we'll get through it. Are there any questions before we get started?
So FO, we'll just take yours first, please.
Okay, we're starting.
Okay.
Okay. FO?
You there?
Yeah, sorry, my apologies. I'm here. So this is a bit of well, maybe I'm a bit nerdy. So I've been looking to connect with scientists, with respect to cold energy, the inverse of heat energy. And it's been in my head for maybe the last 6 months. Something keeps saying, if we can generate energy from the heat, and space is really very cold.
So this is cold energy, like this,
cold
right?
energy, exactly, cold energy.
Okay.
So
All right.
how to connect with people in that area. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Tan May, if we could get yours next, please.
So I'm in the process of applying for my P-Eng license, and I would like to get in touch with the people who have gone through a similar process so that I can know what to expect in the future.
Okay, great. And Adekola, we'll take yours next, please.
Thank you. Okay, I've been out of practice for like 3 years now. And so I'm looking to get connected to maybe a doctor where I can do clinical postings, as in maybe just observership and all that. Clinical observership, yeah, because I'm trying to do the exams. I have one in a month's time, but I've been out of work for 3 years now. Since I came.
All right, so thank you for that, Adekola. Now, Priti, we'd like to get yours next, please.
Yeah, I'm looking for getting connection with a hiring manager of utility power distribution.
Awesome. All right.
It's tricky in the sense that we are getting connected to a lot many people, but how to identify whether they are hiring manager or that executive assistant, what you have named it. When you go to the profile, you in about section, you never able to judge that. So
awesome, thank you. Now, Arup, if we could get one from you, please.
Sure. I actually have two kinds of demands, I'd say. Professionally, I would definitely want to connect with somebody who is into fundraising, because I've started my nonprofit. I'm looking for support when it comes to fundraising. The other one is for the social network, because I've recently moved to the city. I do not know a lot of people. So yes, I'm looking for some sort of social support as well.
All right. Now we're going to go to Trevor, please.
John, you're faster than me.
Sorry. Yeah. You were typing so great there. I apologize. We'll give you, let's do another breath. Hey guys, take another. Here we go. All right. Okay. Trevor, let's see what you have.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle. I'm just using somebody's computer. So
okay.
You can call me Trevor because it says Trevor anyway.
Okay. It's
okay. So yes, I would like to connect with the people that are working in environment sector, in environment field. Mining industry. So yeah, environment.
Danielle, did you say like that?
I'm Danielle. You can call
Danielle.
me
Sorry.
D-A-N-Y. It's easier. Perfect.
All right, Danielle. Thank you, and apologize for calling you Trevor. Thanks for letting us know. Now we've got Iman, please.
So I'm looking to get assistance or connect with somebody who can get me into volunteering, specifically in agencies that help with homelessness in Calgary.
Okay.
All right. Allison, I'm going to bypass you just for the sake of the exercise so we can get everybody involved.
We still love you, Allison.
Thank you.
You're still awesome. Sandra, could we get one from you, please?
I am looking for contacts in the environmental industry as well. I'm trying to transition from oil and gas to environment.
Environmental industry. So you do transition. Okay.
That actually would have been mine anyway, so that's great.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very fitting one for Calgary, for sure. Absolutely right now. All right, next let's go to
sorry, who just spoke? I missed it.
That was Sandra.
Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to go to Olatoyan. Toyin, I know you're one of the organizers. Do you have one you'd like to include?
Sorry?
Do you have one you'd like to include?
No, really.
Okay, no problem. We'll go to Elmira. Elmira, what can we add to the circle for you here?
But I think that when it comes to offering help, I might be able to help someone.
Well, we'll get there. We're not there yet.
Yep. We're going to get everybody's needs first. All right, Elmira, please, if you'd like to go.
I would love to connect with the data analyst who came from completely different industry, just like myself, with zero technical knowledge, and I would love to learn like how he or she was able to improve like his technical knowledge and how much time it took. Yeah.
That's it. Could you just provide your name again? I'm sorry. I think my list of everybody kind of moved there a little bit. Who was that just spoke?
Elmira.
Elmira. Okay, perfect. Elmira. Okay, and next on my list, I've got Ahmed Ibrahim.
Yes, I have experience in environmental management and as well natural conservation sector, and as well safety in the health and safety and environment field in oil and gas. So I would like to have the chance to connect with both environmental specialists as well safety and occupational health specialists.
OHS and HSE.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Ahmed. Okay, so now I have Ayo. Ayo, do we have you there? All right, we'll give Ayo a second. How about Manik?
Can you hear me?
I think Ayo's on.
Oh, we got Ayo back. Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Okay, I apparently joined late, but in terms of connecting, I did like to connect with maybe a data scientist or an engineering manager, someone that is into technical project manager, one of those roles.
Data scientist, engineering, and technical project management. Okay, and now
Yes.
Manik, do you have one for us?
Oh, yes. I would like to connect with a person who is interested in engineering project management and utilities management.
Yes, I know, Manik. I remember you are looking to speak to an engineer. I recall from the last time that we met. So absolutely there. Now, okay, we've got Manik. Next on my list, I have Siddharth.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I'm looking to transition my career from hospitality to banking. So I'm looking for a person who can guide me on the same.
So you're looking to switch from hospitality to banking, okay?
Yeah.
So a career transition from hospitality to banking. Okay, and then
sorry,
I've got
that? Who is the?
That was as Siddharth, Siddharth. And then on my list, I still have Maher. Maher, do we have you here? Maher, are you with us? Oh, there we go.
Yes, I am here.
All right. And did you what kind of specific example do you have for us? What's something you'd like to connect with?
Actually, first of all, I recently joined the conference. Sorry, I was a little busy. Actually, I am a banker. I'm working. I have banking experience in business banking, specifically for small and medium enterprises, and I am using LinkedIn to try find a job in my career.
So I think if we're just going for like a statement question here, probably looking for somebody in financial industries. Would that fit?
Excuse me?
So would you be looking to connect with someone in financial industries and banking?
Yes, this is really helpful. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, now that's everybody that I have on my list. Have I mentioned, have I missed anyone? Is there anyone who we haven't included in the circle yet? I think we got it. All right, I think we got it there, Shannon.
That's a nice looking circle. Okay, so I think you know this, John, but the next step is that we are going to collect offers. So we'll go in the same order. So we'll start up here with FO. And if anyone in the group is able to share an offer, we'll collect it in the same way.
All right. Okay, so we are starting with FO. Is there anybody that has an offer related to his request? So we're looking for, and now this was a fairly particular request. So connecting with somebody in the science fields of cold energy. Anybody familiar with those topics?
That's
How about
okay.
maybe with a science background?
That's okay.
All right, let's try Tan Mays here. So Tan May is looking to get in touch with someone who has got a Bachelor of Engineering license and accreditation. Is there anybody here that has any experience in that area?
So I don't have experience in that area, but I might be able to help Tammy.
Yeah. And is there any particular way you think you might be able to help?
Yes, I can find him a mentor in this domain. I can find him a mentor. I can find him a mentor in this specific, who has the specific qualification that he's looking for.
All right.
I believe I can do that. Yeah.
That's great.
That's fantastic. Now we're going on to Adecolas, and we've got get connected to a doctor or clinical observation area. Anybody with any experience in those fields or connections?
I just want to add to John, in terms of connecting people, we can send out this graphic at the end, but if you do get an offer from someone, please feel free to direct message them your contact information in the Zoom chat, or to connect with them in LinkedIn while we're speaking. We do want to make sure that you're able to keep track of those offers, so we can send this image out at the end, but please feel free to message in the Zoom chat or to connect on LinkedIn while we're completing the exercise.
That's a great idea, Shannon. I think a lot of times if you find somebody, reach out to them right away before we forget and get to the end. Kind of strike while the iron is hot.
You got it.
So let's take a look at Preeti's here. Hiring manager of a utility power distribution. And I would like to put myself forward here, as I'm familiar with Preeti's background in case, and we have gotten a mentor for her, and we can move forward seeing what next steps we can take. So I'll put my name in for this one.
Thank you, John.
Preeti, it's nice to meet you in person. I've seen the digital correspondence, but it's nice to put a face to you. So thanks for attending.
Sure.
Okay, now who did we have here? All right, so now we've got Arup sort of has a dual kind of request here. So we're looking for help building a social network, as I believe you're 51 days in Canada, if I remembered this correctly. So not too long. And then also someone who is in the fundraising field. Do we have anybody with connections to any fundraising, anything done with not-for-profits?
Arup, I can help you with that. That's my
thank you.
That's a large area of my work, so I'd love to connect with you. So I can share experience. I've only worked for not-for-profits for like the last 10 years, so happy to connect with you on that.
And
wonderful, thank you.
Obviously, I think you've been looking at the other parts we had of the presentation and looking at some of the information that Shannon brought forward. And I think by taking a look at that and then asking that question, it's a perfect time to do it. So very good sort of progress throughout what we're doing today. You can't ask for anything better there.
In terms of building a social network, yeah, you're, just to clarify, you're in Calgary, right, Arup?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we've got Danny here, and there's people working in the environmental field. I think we might have somebody just within our circle that also has experience in the same area. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who it is. Do we have anybody that has experience in that area?
Yeah, I saw Sandra has. She wants to change career from oil and gas to environment. So it would be great if I can connect with Sandra. So I'm
Sandra, you're getting nominated here.
Yeah, I will nominate her. And also Ahmed said he works at safety and environment. So Ahmed is also a source maybe for talk to. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, but
you can have a three-way coffee between you three. Amazing.
Great memory there, Danielle. You had that all set up. That's great. All right, now we're getting to Aman's here, and we've got assistance with getting into volunteering for the homeless. Do we have anybody with connections in that area?
What city?
Go ahead, Alison.
What city was who was the question? Iman. What city?
This is Aman.
I'm in Calgary.
In Calgary. Iman, I can connect you with, we have a volunteer coordinator, so you can put my name and then I'll be the conduit with that.
Okay.
Are you 2 L's, Allison?
Yes,
1 L.
thank you.
2 L. Okay, thank you.
And I can provide a little context here. Allison's connection that she's going to get you with is a coworker of ours, and she's fantastic. So good. You're asking the right questions. All right, now we've got here. So now we've got our connections already coming together. So we're up to Sandra here, who's looking for contacts in the environmental industry. Boom, Ahmed, here we go. So we've got a little sort of going back and forth there. Next, we have a data analyst with little technical knowledge for Almira. Anybody have experience in this field?
Data analyst. Any specific kind of data that you're looking for, Almira?
Not really. It's not about data. I was just wondering. I would just love to hear like experience of others who who came from another industry and who would like give some like advices on how to improve technical knowledge and how long it might take. Just it's just all about someone's experience, I would say, because I came from oil and gas industry into the data. So
who's kind of transferred fields or looking to maybe, start something new and different? I think if I'm getting that correctly, Almira, you're just kind of looking for basic information of somebody else who's gone through a career transition / change. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And
okay.
That's correct. From any field into data.
And I think for this one, probably any of us would qualify, because I imagine every one of us has probably done some sort of career change, within our lives. Anybody in particular, maybe with some experience from changing careers?
I mean, I could also connect you to like our data analyst at Windmill. I know he's an immigrant, and he worked at Gene Machine for a few years when he landed, and now he's our data analyst at Windmill. He lives in Calgary. I'm sure he'd be happy to connect with you if you'd be interested.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
No problem. I'm gonna have a bigger homework list when I leave here than when I started. Connect with Windmill data analyst, and his name is Rowan. Great.
All right.
We get.
And now we've kind of returned back over to Ahmed here. So we've got connect with those in environmental and safety specialist. So we've got Sandra Ahmed, and I think Ahmed, is this Ahmed Ibrahim? Do I have the right person?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. We do have another OHS mentor that is today going to be joining with CRIAC. So you could put my name down, and if all goes well with our next meeting, I might have somebody for you to meet with.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
All right. Okay, so now we got some words we've been hearing a couple times here. So now we've got data scientist or engineering manager, technical project manager. And anybody related within those fields. So I think I know, just, from my knowledge of some of you that I've met before, I know Manik's also got some engineering background. So maybe the two of you possibly looking for similar ideas. You can maybe speak to each other and see what's worked for each other as well. Sorry to volunteer you, Manik. You're in my brain.
It's okay.
And you're up next on the list. So we've got here a person who is interested in engineering and utilities PM.
Okay.
Toyin, I was thinking about Comtech is an organization we work with. I don't know if they have offices in Calgary, but I know that they do have some capacity for mentoring and engineering. What do you think, Toyin?
I know that they have an office in Ontario, but in Calgary, I need to check. We can look into that.
We'll look it up.
Assign that to me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Check on mentors in Calgary.
Yeah.
With the company from Comtech.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and then we've got a person who can guide transition from hospitality to banking. Now, Siddharth, I can probably put my hat in the ring for this one here. Two ways. I have a background in hospitality and I've made that career change, so I'm familiar with some of what you're going through. And as well, we do have some banking mentors that are looking for mentees. So I'll put you on my list.
Sure, that would be fine.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No problem.
And we've got the last one, and I missed, I think we might have had a couple other people join. And I also missed who this came from. Was it?
Okay, so that financial institutes and banking, that was Maher.
Okay, thank you.
And then let me see here.
I think Khadijat is maybe has joined.
Khadijat, I'm not sure if you kind of heard the earlier instructions, but basically we're just asking everybody to give us a statement of what area they're looking either to learn more in, to meet somebody, an area of interest. Did you have one we could include on the circle? Khadijat, are we here?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, so I would like to be added in a group because I would like to work I have experience in administrative assistance, and I would like to transition to social work.
Okay, so you were looking for a career transition to social work? Okay.
Yes, I am. But I don't mind if I have
for a connection for someone looking in social work.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so do we have anything for Maher or Khadijat?
I would have some connections in Calgary for social work.
Amazing. Are you in Calgary, Khadijat?
Yes, I am in Calgary.
Okay, great.
And I think we've completed our circle. If we've missed anybody, please hit the hands up button just so I can see, but I think we've got everybody in here.
Hello, still I didn't find my mentor.
Yeah, we don't have anyone for Maher. Either Toyin or John, maybe either of you have access to mentors in financial institute or banking. I'm sure we do with Scotiabank.
Yes, certainly we do. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can look into that as well.
Okay.
I don't have a mentor too. I think an iPhone also doesn't have a mentor.
Physicians are hard. Okay.
All right, so we're still, if anybody, let's all kind of put our thinking caps on here and see if anybody has any connections related to doctors. And I think it had something to do with observational studies, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And where are you located? I mean, what province are you in? Are you in Calgary?
I'm in Quebec.
Sorry?
I'm in Quebec, Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, Quebec.
Quebec.
Can I give a suggestion for the doctor and physician? We all have family doctors, isn't it? So we are all connected. So when we go to them, we can ask like whether they have such association. How did they come? How did they,
I don't have
this journey and all? So I think we all
I don't have a family doctor yet. It's 3 years now.
Okay.
But
Once you
my
get
daughter
that,
just got a doctor today. Today, I just got connected to a doctor, and the first appointment is going to be.
Ryan, what about the doctor that we just interviewed for our last newsletter?
That's Shannon. That's what I was asking. Where she's located.
Shannon, yeah.
She's in Quebec.
Does it matter if it's not a doctor in Quebec?
Doesn't matter. Doctors is still.
Well, I think just for the sake of kind of moving forward with our exercise, I think contacting of family physicians is a good starting point, as at least that'll get some contact, and then that can also provide further contacts. They might be able to supply something that's more related, not to getting a family doctor, but to a doctor's association within Quebec. So maybe let's take that as a starting point, and then we can kind of move forward.
Yeah.
Medical associations in Quebec.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that actually brings us to the close for today.
FO, we didn't find for FO as well. FO, the very first
For,
question.
yes, for FO, science and cold energy.
Yeah, the cold energy, that was a little bit of a, I'll admit I am not familiar with cold energy, so I'm sort of, I would need a little more background on that. Is there anybody who is familiar with that area that might have some suggestion? It sounds very
FO,
interesting.
or if there's a particular corporation that you think is interesting.
So, excuse me, I have some background noise. So it's really something that's like kind of like pioneering. I want to believe that there must be someone looking at this out there. But for me, you know, I've looked around and I really don't see a lot happening in that area. But I think it has.
What city are you based in?
I'm in Calgary.
You're in Calgary,
okay. Yeah. And for me, you know, I just think Canada has, I mean, with all the cold regions we have around us, you know, there's massive potential there. So that's why, you know, I can't get it out of my head.
Well, you know, why don't we put a note down here, and then I'm willing, we could put John down here. I'm willing to attempt to ask somebody that might have an idea about it, and then we could see if we can get some connectors. I will ask somebody to explain it to me and see what I can find out.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Amazing. Well, good job, team. We found, you know, hopefully something that will, you know, either move you in the right direction or connect you directly with someone that can help you in the next steps for building your professional career and your networks, you know, to improving your employment or to finding employment. So if there, I have just a couple more minutes until we close, but happy to answer any other questions about either kind of the practical ideas that we talked about or about the reciprocity ring. Yeah, if there's anything else before we close, please feel free to share at this time.
I would like to just, before we all have to run to all our places, thank you everybody for attending. Thank you very much for coming to do the session. Shannon, it was a pleasure to meet you today. And this, I think, is already helpful because we're already networking amongst ourselves. So I think mission accomplished. So thank you very much for the background information. Anybody else here, some, you know, kind of final questions, anything you'd like to bring up with the group? And for Shannon.
I just wanted to ask, how do we assess the reciprocity ring? Like, there are some action items like people that need to follow up. How do they know what to do?
Well, I think, Allison, will you be able to send out, or someone from the crack team, an image that like a picture of that ring? Is that possible?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay. And then I saw Aman, please go ahead.
I just have a really simple question. This is with regards to when you reach out to somebody for the very first time. And my question is, how culturally acceptable it is to just straight away go and mention their first name without a Mr. or Mrs. Because in my culture where I come from, you can only do this after you really know a person. But I seem to see that in Canada, people are more acceptable to just go straight to first name, even just on a first time basis.
Yeah, I think in the business community in Canada, it's very acceptable to use a person's first name, even the first time that you're meeting them. I don't think you're ever going to offend anyone by using their last name. It just comes across as maybe overly formal, and it does, you know, maybe signal that you are newer to Canada, which again is like not a problem. No one's going to be offended by it. It's very formal. It's like how I speak to my grandparents' friends. But it is completely acceptable in business culture in Canada to use a first name. I would say like good morning, you know, Rachel, or good afternoon, Ben, are more formal ways than hi or hello. You could also, or dear.
Formal greeting, personal name. That sounds good. And then I think there's still one more hand up here for FO I saw. FO, did you have anything else? Arup, we're just going to check with FO. Did you have anything?
Okay, yeah. So I did have one thing at the beginning. Apologies. You know, I just wanted to also say that, you know, context around, you know, culture in Canada, you know, while we are on first name basis, you know, Canadians are not exactly like Americans who you can meet and, be very direct and all of that. So, people need to understand that in Canadian culture, first name basis, yes, but, we're a bit more reserved, we're a bit more conservative, all of the nuances around the language and, all of that when we were talking about LinkedIn as well. So, I don't know if I have time, but just to put that out there, there is still that Canadianness we have. Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're all many Canadians are British descendants. Like my grandparents were Scottish. So there is a formality that is a little bit different than our neighbors to the south. So yeah, first name basis, but formal writing I think is best practice. Thank you so much, FO.
And I saw one last hand up from Arup. If we can get to yours here, are you still with us?
Yep. Hi, I didn't have a question, but I really wanted to thank you, Shannon, for this amazing session. Like I've attended a lot of networking session, but I think this made a lot more sense to me. So thank you so much for it.
Yeah, I also just wanted to say that was really wonderful. I learned a lot
Thank you.
even myself. So thank you.
All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for attending. We really enjoyed it. Thank you, Shannon, and everybody. Good luck with our future networking. And I'm sure a lot of us will be connecting moving forward from this one today. So
I expect to see 20 invitations on LinkedIn when I look at my phone.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the day, guys. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Manik. Good luck with everything. All right.
Yeah, nice to see you too, John.
Nice to pleasure. And thanks everybody else. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.